Thank you for listening to the Failsafe Moment. Grab a cup of coffee and let's join Rob Statham for another informative discussion helping people learn from things that go wrong.
Welcome, everybody. My name's Rob Statham. Thank you for joining me today. I wanted to talk to you about the five principles of human and organizational performance and how to apply them. And over the next few weeks, I'm going to kind of drop down in the weeds and talk about each one individually from my perspective. Uh, Failsafe has been helping people learn from things that go wrong since 1985. And we have a very unique process that helps people learn from things that go wrong. And it's very, very much aligned with the principles of human and organizational performance. I remember years ago, 2002, 2003, 4, 5, 6, that whole decade, you would mention to people when you went to investigate an incident, right? You would uh, mention to people that this isn't about blame, this is about learning. And oh my gosh, it was like a dogfight. People would roll their eyes. They'd like talk about people need to be held accountable, and it was on and on. And Todd Conklin, Dr. Todd Conklin, other people too. I know Bob Edwards, Andrea Baker. There's lots of people in the industry that have traction, right? Todd Conklin wrote a book, The Five Principles of HOP, of Human Performance, I should say, and he goes through HOP is just the acronym for Human and Organizational Performance, and he brought to light what what I think a lot of us in the industry had known and had been trying to say, but he put it in a very succinct way that it made sense from top to bottom within an organization. So we certainly have to tip our hat to the what Todd Conklin's done and what he's contributed. And I wanted to walk through those five principles of HOP, of human and organizational performance. And principle number one is um, error is normal, and you're going to find that, right? People make mistakes. It's just a normal part of our lives, and that's something that we just have to get used to and understand, and have robust systems involved that can still operate in a very successful manner. Certainly true, without a doubt. You're not going to have people like robots that never make mistakes. People will, especially as you add the complexity, right, of our organizations and the environment that we're working in. People actually do incredibly well with everything that they're faced with. It's getting caught in between in those places where um, it's almost an unfortunate timing, but we'll talk more of that later. But the whole point, principle number one, is people cause problems. That's the way we say it, or human error is normal. The second principle, and I love this, is blame fixes nothing. And that is absolutely true. Uh, in fact, I'll go further than that. Blame actually hurts. It not only doesn't fix, it tears things down. It undermines trust. Uh, it discourages people from learning. No one wants to disclose, hey, I made an error here. This is a mistake. Um, to the point they may even try to hide it. And that's not healthy, obviously, for a myriad of reasons. And that's what I was referring to earlier. That used to be a dogfight within an organization because people thought that blame was a way to ensure that there was accountability. And I understand why people would think that. I'm just going to be honest with you, they're wrong. And we can talk more about that on a sidebar, or you can contact me yourself, because accountability is about you looking at what you need to do and being accountable. It's not about me pointing my finger at you saying that it was your fault. They're two different things. And the other problem that blame brings, the moment I point my finger at someone, I'm saying I had no part in it. And that is, it's not true. The bottom line is everybody within an organization contributes in one way or another. You may be further removed from the incident that happened, but we affect the way we are always as a group. So we do play a part. It's just a small part and it's not easy to see. That's blame keeps us from even considering that we had a problem with that. It's a trap that management had fallen into for years, looking out in the field going, uh-oh, what'd you do? Right? People need to be accountable. Don't hide from this. Well, it can very well, and it does, it reaches very well into the policies that management had been supporting, right? They're going to contribute. Not that it was their fault, but they certainly played a part. So, uh, principle number two, blame fixes nothing. I agree 1,000,000% with that. Principle three, learning and improving is vital. We absolutely have to be learning. Organizations literally have two choices when they respond to failure. They can learn and improve, or they can blame and punish. And choosing to learn, without a doubt, is what puts you on the path toward continuous improvement. Uh, Blaming and punishing, you end up going around the same mulberry bush time after time without ever really improving anything. The fourth principle of human and organizational performance is context drives behavior. And I alluded to that at the beginning with human error is normal because people find themselves in situations. Uh, that's the idea of context. Once you understand the situation someone was in the thoughts that go through their mind, you understand why they did what they did. And when you understand, you actually will let go of blame. You can't blame and understand at the same time. And the conditions that we find ourselves at work, uh, they greatly influence people's behavior. And that's just the way it is. The better your systems and processes, uh, the more it'll help manage uh, the uncertain operational outcomes. But they're always present within organizations. So people will always find themselves in situations where they're making choices, and when something goes wrong, you'll understand the context will drive the behavior. The fifth principle, which is honestly undergirds the whole thought process that we've been talking about with human and organizational performance, is how you respond to failure matters. Uh, Leaders can choose to use failure as an opportunity for learning and improvement, or they can choose to use failure uh, to punish those involved. And when that happens, you're certainly going to find less and less information. People aren't going to volunteer things. They're not going to be embracing a failure, right? That it's an opportunity to learn because of our egos, right? No one wants to be put in the spotlight and go, "Wow, look at what I did. Look at what I was involved with." In hindsight, it's so easy for any of us to go, "Gosh, that seems silly. Why would anyone do that?" That's why it's so important to understand. I'm going back to um, principle number three, right? To understand context, you have to understand the situation people found themselves in, to understand why they did what they did. Well, I mentioned in the past, 20 years ago, it was a dogfight. When you talked about people cause problems, people would quickly agree with that because they also embraced blame. I would say it was natural um, for blame to be people's first reaction. And I'll say this today, I still believe it's our human nature that's natural for blame to be our first reaction. It helps us deal with things because we're fantastic problem solvers, right? And problem solving is a great thing, but problem solving usually addresses issues, symptoms, if you will, right on the periphery. And it's things that you can see, that you can touch, that you can fix. You see a gasket leaking on a flange, right? It's something that you can get a work order put in. You can go out there, uh, you can isolate it, you can fix it and move on. You're not staying up at night wondering, why did that gasket fail? Right. That's the idea. When you truly understand why something went wrong, you'll go a little deeper. And we don't have to do that. We have to be problem solvers. I think that's why you have a job is because you are excel at problem solving, and you need to. But you also need to understand when it's time to learn something, when you need to go a little deeper and understand something. It's not time just to fix the physics of a problem. Now we need to address the physics. That's absolutely true, but we need to go a little deeper. We need to understand, as Todd Conklin said, the context behind the behavior. Because people will cause problems, but we need to understand why. And I want to go even deeper than this. The whole point of this podcast was to talk about how to apply these five principles. And I believe our niche, without a doubt, what we offer people is the machine, the process, if you will, to that uses all five of these principles of human performance, and it's a repeatable, straightforward process that helps people learn from things that go wrong without hurting them in the process. And we do that by banning blame, and then we base everything we do then on evidence of what happened, and we get the people involved in the room to identify how the incident occurred based on evidence, not conjecture, not just some theory, not from their expertise, but on the evidence. And you also have the very same people in the room then identify who did what wrong that contributed to those physical causes. And when people do that, there's something that brings freedom, liberation, learning. People are open and honest, and people also then it builds trust, right? Because we've thrown out blame, and now we're sitting there and everybody's seeing their part in an incident and owning it. That's true accountability. That's exactly what we want. If you're interested in improving, doing more with less, which we've proved to the world, that's what we do. I think as Americans, we've absolutely proven that over the last 50 years. Uh, we do more with less. Well, the way we do that is we improve. We get better and better. We grow. And this process that we use, latent cause analysis, is a fantastic process that applies the five principles of human performance, and it lets anybody apply them. Um, we get down then too to talk about based on evidence now, what is it about the way we are that contributed to this? Because if we don't address that small part of culture that's contributing to our problems, we call that latency. That's the definition of latency. When we talk about a latent cause analysis, we want to understand the physical causes. We want to understand the people that were involved that enabled the physical causes, but we want to understand why. We want to understand the latent causes. What is it about the way we are that contributed to that? And when you address major incidents from that point of view, you find true improvement. You actually come out of that meeting, that stakeholder meeting, that's our term for it. Other people would think this is akin to a learning team, and they're similar, but it comes out with building trust. Here's the one issue that's been thrown out since I brought up the term learning team. I think learning teams are fantastic. I do, and they're kind of wide open, and there's no limits to what you can do with them. You get the right people in the room, and you talk about what happened. And again, it's similar things. They're talking from their point of view based on evidence. Um, where where you need to stop and consider as consequences get a little higher, it's not our nature to point out what we did wrong. It's often our nature to go, well, I'll just learn from this in the quiet of my mind, hopefully, and we'll move on. And that's the weakness that I've seen in some learning teams in the way the application of this comes. And with the stakeholder meeting, you have someone that's leading that meeting, and we're walking through, and everybody's in the same position. Everybody has to answer the same questions based on evidence, and everyone has to share that. That's the difference. That's where latent cause analysis, it really makes it easy for you to understand both how something occurred, why it occurred, and what you're going to do to help prevent it in the future. Uh, that's, I think, in a nutshell, our take on how to apply the five principles of human performance using latent cause analysis is a fantastic way to implement the principles of HOP within your organization. It helps change the way people think, and that's honestly where you need to get to. If you want to improve, if you want continuous improvement, if we're going to improve with fewer resources and doing more over the same time period, we have to get to that place to where we're improving and we're taking advantage of not just our individual talents and abilities, but how we work together as a team, right? Your team has to be built together to where they're working without friction, right? They're working uh, in a more successful manner, and that comes, number one, you have to trust each other. And that's another problem with blame. Blame undermines trust. And the moment people are afraid of, or they're not sure, they don't trust who they work for or the people that work for them or to their sides, you've got a serious issue. Don't fool yourself and think that you're going to operate at a high level if you have people that are worried about who they can trust at work. That's why it's so important to take this on head on and address it in a very healthy way. This, you're not going to spend a whole bunch of time, but the truth is there's things that go wrong that you can see and you can put your hands on, and there's things that go wrong that are soft, that are happening within the people that you're not ever going to affect by rewriting a policy, a procedure, or a process. You have to get down to the very way human beings are wired. and get that rewired by them voluntarily. And my take on all of this are people are the most valuable asset an organization has, and they want to do a great job. And when you put them in a position to learn and to improve, they embrace it. They love it. They run with this. You have thoroughbreds working for you. You need to know that you need to let them go and point them in the right direction. You need to check on them. You need to help them. You need to uh, knock down barriers in front of them. You see they're running toward a closed gate. It's your job to get the gate open. Uh, but let your thoroughbreds run. And to do that, they have to have processes that are repeatable, straightforward, and very successful. And that's what Failsafe offers. We don't offer a technique for root cause analysis. We offer an opportunity for you to improve and be successful in the future. So I hope I hear from you. I'd love to hear your comments, your questions, your takes. And until next time, stay safe.
Thank you for listening to the Failsafe Moment. We'd love to hear from you. Share your comments and questions below or contact us through our website, www.failsafe-network.com. Once again, that's www.failsafe-network.com. Until next time, have a great day.